we can actually create an environment of fear, which otherwise wouldn't have been the case. And remember, the military and police, because the police have actually taken part in staging a coup in this country before, you can't detach them from the rest of society. They are also guided by what they hear and what we do, our actions and inactions. So if you create an alarm when they shouldn't be, I mean, alarm, that the situation is not that alarming, and you create that situation, you could be giving them.
But in saying all of these things, it doesn't mean that we should take some of these utterances for granted.
Yeah,
and say
exactly.
that, well,
that is why I'm saying that, yes, so you can do that in a manner that would not unnecessarily heighten tension in this country. Okay? Yes. And he talked about the violation of rights. Yes, so let's follow the procedure. You can invite him.
Yes.
Maybe he sees his passport. Yeah. Make the bail conditions stringent. And not necessarily detain. Because what you saw at Ashaman, for me, is very dangerous for our security. Look at the youth.
Yeah, these are young people.
Who came out to demonstrate in support of Oliver.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. So we need to be careful. I don't know what values the gentleman stands for, but what I saw at the Ashaman police station, when the people felt that he had been detained beyond the what is acceptable under the Constitution, then I said this could be recipe for chaos. We need to watch that. Then Abronye DC. As for Abronye DC, I don't know what's wrong with Abronye DC. With the greatest of respect, this is not the first time Abronye DC has made coup allegations against President Mahama. This is not the first time. The first time he made such an allegation was when we had some banter, NDC, MPP, over the importation of some firearms, and I, as deputy minister, was the one who signed the permit. They made it look as if I had committed a crime. But you see, allowing licensed arms dealers to bring in weapons into this country for sale, shotguns, cartridges, is part of the mandate of the Ministry of the Interior. And when I was deputy minister, I acted as such. President Mahama was the one, Abronye DC, sat on state media and accused roundly of acting in concert with me.
State media?
Yes, to bring in arms to overthrow the government.
Which state media is that?
Well, if you can Google, you'll find out.
I'm much concerned about the state media, that's all.
Well, maybe it's not yours. I should say the media.
Thank you.
If you're worried about state media and you don't want
because it's very
GBC implicated, let me withdraw the word state.
It's very much important.
No, so let me withdraw the word state and say the media.
Yes.
Yes. So the gentleman accused President Mahama. Do you stage coups with shotguns? You don't stage coups cartridges. Do you stage coups with cartridges?
But I mean, any weapon you can't outrule any weapon.
No. But these are why weapons for civil use. They are weapons for civil use for hunters. So you can buy a shotgun for hunting purposes. But he sought to, I mean, how do I put it? To make it look like President Mahama, once commander-in-chief of our armed forces, is a coup monger and was preparing to overthrow the government. Right? Today, you see, he's gained notoriety for making those statements. He did that and got away with it. Now, again, look at that wild allegation. President Mahama is about to stage a coup with Al-Qaeda. With Al-Qaeda. Come to think of it. So we seriously speaking,
it's been arranged before court today.
We need to, people must be circumspect. Maybe he thought he was doing it, just saying it out there to make President Mahama unpopular. But you can't do that.
With these various comments, does it show or expose certain misgivings in the public or in Ghana?
Misgivings. So what is his own view? He thinks
not necessarily him.
So maybe
not necessarily him. But I mean, I'm talking about the various.
Maybe he wants to indulge in a game of equalization. But who does he think Womevo is aligned to? Womevo is a leader of Fix the Country movement.
Fix the Country movement. And
Fix the Country movement have made themselves very clear that they are not politically aligned. So if it is the case that Abronye DC wanted to equalize when he heard about the...
He didn't say that.
No, but I'm making a reasonable guess here. So if that is his view, then he's gotten it all wrong, because Womevo has been very consistent that he's not aligned to the NDC. Recently, when the NDC embarked upon a demonstration, the youth wing, they Fix the Country movement refused to join the demonstration because they said they were non-aligned. Right? Coming on the back of that, if Abronye also comes out to say it is rather President Mahama who is trying to stage a coup with Al-Qaeda, so does it mean that all along President Mahama has been dealing with terrorists? That is a very serious statement to make of the former commander-in-chief of our armed forces. And you know how passionate President Mahama is in matters of our national security. You know how passionate he is. Yeah. He has never politicized issues of national security. So why would you drag him into this?
Look, moving forward, earlier when you were talking, you said that you looked at the anger that even Oliver spoke, or the comment he put on social media. We can't run away from the fact there's anger in the system. What should the state do to at least calm people down and address some of these issues raised by these people, especially the young people?
You see, we cannot take the young people for granted, especially when they become aggrieved. They can be easily manipulated, okay? And so this whole issue we are talking about governance, about democracy, about free speech, is meant to address the plight of the Ghanaian. I'm not even going to use ordinary. The plight of the Ghanaian. And let's know that everything, any problem we talk about is behavioral. If you go addressing the needs of people, you create that environment where they become a bit relaxed. You can go ahead and do so many things without even getting any criticism. In fact, there are some dictatorships where people don't care. Why? Because they are taken very good care of, and they can be least worried.
That's true.
So I think that it's important that government, first and foremost, must listen, not appear to be, but must listen. We are not saying it's not doing the right thing. We are just saying that it helps when you listen, because the way you respond to dissenting views and opinions matter. If people say something and they said, well, this is okay, it is true, these are what we're trying to do, but under the circumstances, these are the challenges we're facing. Now, if using this route is not working and other people are making suggestions, consider them. Even if you disagree, do it in such a manner it does not come off as you are being dismissive. You are being intransigent, because these are the very things that lead people into doing some of these things. Now, let's not forget, I mean, I didn't put on my international something, but let me just go there a bit. First and foremost, like Honorable said, we are in a country where we have international partners, we have donors, and even outside, we are recognized very well for our democracy and good governance. The things we do affect our image out there in terms of partnerships and support. So if these things are happening, it does not really augur well for us. That's the first aspect of it. And that's the very reason why government must also make sure that it begins to get some of its actions right. And government is not only the executive. We're talking about the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Everybody has a responsibility in that direction. Absolutely. Yeah. And even more so when it comes to security, the security sector governance, the Parliamentary Select Committee, okay, That would be a whole topic another day. But they really have lots of things that they have to do. And the chair of that committee must be seen to be making pronouncements that douses tension, pronouncements that douse tension, and also make sure that the executive is held accountable, because it's all about transparency, it's all about accountability. If that is seen being done, then people know that at least this is a listening government. It thinks about the plight of the people, you know. And then I wanted to make this point that we are in a turbulent zone and region currently, where coups are happening all around. Now, let's not remember that there are actors lingering around in the region. They mentioned Al-Qaeda. There's a particular group called the Movement for Justice and Jihad or something in West Africa, Mujao. And its plan is to make sure that it causes mayhem in the region because of injustices. And you can see the thing coming down from Mali, spreading to Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso and all that, and even around us, close to our borders and all. We must not give the grounds or the basis for any of such elements to begin to take advantage and cause mayhem. So those are some of the things. And so let's all, as both government and opposition, work together. And our major focus must not be self-interest, but collective interest, national interest, and addressing the needs of the people. Anything done without taking the needs of the people into consideration and listening to them will be a problem.
Wonderful. Same question. I mean, bringing down that kind of tension and anger out there, especially in the young people.
Yes. So, quite clearly, he's summarized the what needs to be done. Youth-related issues, employment is a major issue that needs to be tackled very seriously by government. And I have heard that today NAPCO employees will be embarking upon a strike. I heard the news yesterday, I don't know the exact date, but it seems it's today that they'll be staging a demonstration. NAPCO thought that was supposed to be some panacea to youth unemployment. But if the NAPCO beneficiaries are the ones who are now embarking upon a demonstration, then that is a serious problem. It simply means that we as a country, we're losing the fight our constitution provides for. Separation of powers, the arms of government, the legislature, the executive, should respect one another and accord all the courtesies. Right. Let me give you an example.
I think that respect has been there. I mean, from the various arms.
But in recent times, certain developments have happened which doesn't augur well for a synergy between the arms of government.
You're referring to the executive and the
executive, particularly the executive and the way it relates to the legislative arm of government. Let me just give you one example.
Okay.
The Speaker of Parliament.
Yes.
Per our constitutional arrangement, is the third most important personality, right?
Yes.
In order of hierarchy. So you have the president, the vice president, the speaker of parliament. The speaker's security detail was withdrawn by the executive in a manner that sounded very unacceptable.
Why was it unacceptable?
The military took it upon themselves to write directly to the Speaker of Parliament. That is in breach of protocol. It is in breach of protocol. Because if you accept the principle that there is civil control over our armed forces, it shouldn't have been the Chief of Staff writing directly to the Speaker of Parliament.
Should have been who?
The executive, the ministry, and explain the circumstances of the withdrawal. Then they cited procedural reasons.
Exactly.
Really? I never made a disclosure about the specific procedural irregularities that occasioned the withdrawal. But granted that that was the case, whose fault was it? Because there was clear correspondence between the office of the Speaker of Parliament and the armed forces. And they granted his request and sent men to be part of his security detail. 1 year
So that correspondent
on,
was
1 year
that
on,
correspondent
1
was
year
between
on.
the correspondent was between the Speaker's office and that of the Ghana Armed Forces,
Of course,
not the ministry.
you cannot take away the ministry here.
But I mean, the correspondent was between the two, the Speaker's office and the Ghana Armed Forces.
Yes,
yes.
You
not
saw the
ministry.
letters.
Yes, not
You
the
saw the
not the
letters.
ministry.
Yes, because they did that based upon the advice that they got, and they did just that.
So what's wrong if the same ministry, Armed Forces, right back and say that?
No. There's everything wrong with that. There's everything wrong with that. Remember that there is civil control over the armed forces.
The Armed Forces, yeah.
And so when you are dealing with a co-equal branch of government, the legislative arm, you need to accord the legislature with all the respect that it deserves.
Okay.
So it doesn't augur well for collaboration between the two. And these are some of the things we need to watch.
Okay.
Let us respect the sovereign will of the people expressed through their representatives. You saw what happened in Parliament. There was a brawl because we thought that, look, some attempts were being made to subvert the will of the people. This is the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. So when Parliament convenes and decisions are taken legitimately, accept the will of the people. But if you come back and employ some tactics to subvert the will of the people, it doesn't augur well for the survival of our democratic experiment.
We have to leave it here, Honorable. Thank you very much. Doc, we'll leave it here.
Just something small.
Okay.
I think
5 seconds.
Yes, there's a good side to what is happening currently.
Yes.
When we're getting towards elections,
Yes.
people must be responsible for their pronouncements because it can cause a lot of violence.
Yes. Yeah. All right. We'll leave it here. Thank you very much for your time. We wish you all the best. And thank you, too, for joining us this morning on Focus. The program will be repeated this evening at 11 p.m. after a major news bulletin at 10 on GTV. Let's all try as much as possible to play our role effectively to ensure and maintain this beautiful democracy that we have. My name is George Sapo. I'll see you when I see you next week. Bye-bye.